From my splintered goddess temple through the evolving basilia of the Catholic Church out of the covens of California and prisons of Islam, I have survived and created my own language. I have journeyed across this unknown flesh, this landscape of desire in the shadows of history, at the initiation between every man and boy at the meeting place of the divine twin, where every comrade in arms has felt the kiss. With every Galli grinning through the dark, with every touch, every gasp and sigh, I have felt centuries collapse, and I have witnessed the destruction and rebirth of each man.
Body is like country. The artisans are the hands, feet, and various parts of the body. Passion is a tax collector. Rage is the sheriff, and dill or heart is the king. Intellect the vizier. Passion, like a tax collector, uses any means to extract everything. Rage is harsh and punishing, like a sheriff, and wants to kill. The king controls not only passion and rage, but also the intellect. We must keep a balance between all of these forces. A dervish, howling or whirling, is usually an individual of science, culture, literature and philosophy, and more. A person with perceptions and capacities beyond those of ordinary men, like a saint and magician with powers of healing and telepathy, capable of miracles.
Dionysus has given way to Apollo. One nation's heroes have become another nation's villains. There is a psychic impulse deep within all of us that turns one man's god into another man's devil. As the snake of Artemis, Cybele, Aphrodite and Hermes, for example, was replaced by the serpent, the evil that dwells deep in the Garden of Eden.
I had a dream. I was lying on my bed, staring at the ceiling, when suddenly I felt this man next to me. He was holding my hand. I looked at this man, staring at me. He had on a black negligee, but it was ripped, and I could see his chest lifting with each breath. He had on long golden earrings, and he smiled. And then he started to whisper, Galli, Galli, Galli. And the bed started to move. We were lifting, floating up, and looking down, I could see my CDs and posters fading in the distance. Galli, Galli, Galli. And listening to this man's voice, I heard music and sounds, and then this beat, and then the bed landed. And I knew that we were in ancient Rome. We were in a temple. We got off the bed. And then my companion started to shriek. I saw others like him, and they were shrieking. They were wearing torn dresses, and some of them were naked, except for their jewelry. And I saw that my friend had a yellow stone sewn into his skin. And then I heard the beating of a drum that one of them was striking, and one of them was playing a recorder, and another was clicking castanets, click, click, click. And I saw one of them beating what looked like cymbals, and they all had long, tangled yellow hair, and they started to shake. And then my friend started to dance, and they all formed a circle in front of me. One of them was wearing a white veil, and he was jacking off into this goblet that looks like a goddess. And he was smearing the semen on his face. And he was tearing his skin. I could see blood pouring down his chest. And he was lifting the goblet to his lips. And then I looked closer, and I saw that many of them were castrated. So I put on my shoes. And I left the temple. over mountains. And then I saw a cave. And this old man came out of it. He was wearing a long, flowing white skirt with many folds, and I saw something that looked like a Christmas ornament. He was grinning, and he was coming towards me, speaking in some old language I couldn't understand. And he came closer, and I could see this small metal ball, a needle, and a long thread. And he came so close, I could feel his breath against my skin, and his hand just floated above my chest. And then he pierced the needle through me. Metal balls hanging from me like a Christmas tree. And then the man started to dance. I wanted to dance with him, but it hurt every time I moved. My body was sweating and bleeding, and he was smiling and dancing, and I started to move. My whole body was glowing, and I started lifting from the pain, floating. I see myself and I'm on a CTA bus. And the bus is crowded with people, and I'm just sitting there, silent, staring out of the window. I've got my Walkman on, and I hear the music, and it's piercing my head through my entire body. And then I hear this sound, this lonely, wailing sound, and I think it's coming from the Galli. And I realize it's coming from me. And I woke up, and I was in the great library of Alexandria, poring over parchments. I learned that the Galli were a homosexual cult of men who worshipped in the temple of Cybele. Through ecstatic rituals of shrieking, bleeding, dancing, and sex, they led their followers to a deeper experience Mother Earth. They were priests, spiritual guides, and prostitutes all in one. Wow. I read about their counterparts, the homosexual temples of the samurai, the boy priests of the Buddha in Burma and China, and the Hijra of India, 50,000 members in its castration cult ritual performance, and the shamans of Siberia, the Ganymede priests of Peru, the Mahu of the Polynesians, and the Burdock, the third gender tribe of the Native Americans. But what did the Gallis want from me? I looked further into my childhood. In the hills outside of Rome, I was 8 years old when this smooth-skinned Italian waiter led me into his row. Was he the Gallis? I left the parchments and went to the computer room. I typed into cyberspace Galli. Nothing came up. And then images began to float in front of me on the screen. The Stonewall riot the year I was born, the March on Washington, ACT UP demonstrations, Queer Nation kiss-ins, rainbow gatherings, the quilt, people were shaking and crying, Stonewall 25. I had sensed the energy of the Galli in all of these places. And then I thought of every man I had ever been.
Imagine standing on a blacktop playground and 100 attractive men are lined up against the wall in the bright sunshine. Every single one of them is naked and they're just standing there for your inspection. Now move down that line of 100 guys and scrutinize every single one of them. Let your eyes do the walking and talking. Step back and pick the 50 hottest guys of the bunch. Review them again and pick the 25 hottest guys. Then pick 10. Now let your feelings come out even more and see if you can't pick out the one. Maybe there are too many good ones. Maybe it's a bad batch and there's no one that really works the juices here. That's why it started with 100. Through the course of any day, we see various representatives of that 100, and every so often we come across an individual where we automatically go, wow. I don't mean a mere sexual lusting, which can occur, nor do I mean any desexualized or cliched romanticism. By wow, I mean that thing that really grabs you, not just from the cock and balls, but grabs the cock and balls as the root of the whole plant that goes up through all of your innards and shoots out the top of your head. Something your whole guts know, those things that move you from the gonads, the blood, the heart. It's the root of your orientation. Because when you go wow over that 200th guy, it's a feeling of fusion with someone like yourself. The experience of oneness is that wowness, and that wowness is the transcendental. It's the source of whatever wisdom and understanding we later gain. It's what we mean by falling in love.
And I woke up, and I was in a nightclub with one of my old boyfriends. He was wearing a long gown that trailed the floor, and we were dancing. And he started doing this wild, almost psychedelic movement, like he was trying to feel out the energy on the floor. I was fascinated and drawn to this 60s thing that he was doing. I was doing this mind-numbing 80s thing. And the 70s was like a wall that separated us. And peering into it, I saw my childhood of Pop-Tarts, Tang, and wheat germ. And for him, a heterosexual marriage, a beach house, and an identity he was shedding now in front of me like a skin. He was crying and reaching through this wall. I touched the tears that had fallen on his chest. sky, a flash of yellow, the top of his head, the Galli. He was looking at me. I was following him with my eyes. I could see his sweaty, bleeding chest. And then the dance floor started coming in. Everybody was dancing, but nobody was noticing him. And it was coming in, the space was getting smaller and smaller, and I was just following him.
I am 8 years old, sitting in the back of our family car as we drive up through an infinity of pine forests, high and higher into the air, up the side of one of the largest mountain ranges on the planet. On one side are steep cliffs, above us a maze of winding road, and the clouds are thick and black, reaching down to moisten the forests, to make love to them, to make them wet and rich, with the deepest, most pungent smells of sap and needles and earth. We drive into the clouds, driving through dangerously beautiful fogs, and I look at monster pines as big as a small skyscraper looming above us, and there is no family, no society, no men, only me, a spirit staring out of the eyes of a small boy through the window of a car that I have forgotten, that I can hardly even recall exists. If I keep my face at the window, everything else in the world disappears. There is nothing left, only forests and clouds covering the most immense mountains the mind can imagine. And I am lost in the clouds.
And I woke up, and I was on the side of a mountain surrounded by trees. I saw some goats and a dog running, and then I started walking. I could feel the wet ground under my feet. And then I ran into somebody. He had a small, gray and white beard and a purple shawl and nothing else. He was naked. And so was I. Good morning, he said. Good morning. Want to go for a walk? And he nodded his head towards a river and extended his hand. Sure. And we started walking along this path towards the river. And I'm feeling good. Though I'm not quite sure where I am. But he seems familiar. And then we get to a ridge. And he sits down. And I look around at all these beautiful trees and take a deep breath of fresh air. And then I sit next to him. And he starts talking. He said that I reminded him of when he was a dancer in this dance troupe in the 60s. This kind of acid drag performance. He told me about these competing ballet troupes that the Fairies found in San Francisco. He tells me about the Radical Fairies, a group of gay men and lesbians who founded this commune, Short Mountain in Tennessee. And then the sun started to set. The green around us grew vibrant before slowly blurring. He leaned over and took my penis in his hands, and I reached over and held his, and we sat there for a moment. And suddenly I understood a little about those silences and gaps I had learned from the Galli. And these emerging blurs between sex and friendship, so common in this queer landscape. Between our urban lives and this inviting countryside. Between yesterday's civilizations and today's global village. Between women and men. Between fear and ecstasy. Between the shadow and light. Between the ideas of matriarchy and the realities of patriarchy. Between the soul and the body. And between me and this man next to me, our separate ages and experiences that now melted away. And looking at the smiling older man, I saw the goddess in him. And then we started to raise. And I taught myself the dance of the whirling dervish, the descendants of the Galli, from the same mountains, from the same corner of the globe. And I began to speak. And I remember what I have learned from every man. And I speak. And I look for the Galli in everyone. And I speak. And I know that I will only glimpse the Gallis in these fleeting moments. And I speak. And in the center of that whirling vortex, I saw and felt the goddess. And the energy. And the language. And the sound. And the silence. And the spirit.
Eventually we let go. We let go because we have to let go. Time swirls by. There is only this moment. Shiva dancing, the sound of Om filling the universe with existence. And then Shiva stops, and the sound of the Om shrinks back into itself. I think of dreams and memories and visions dancing through my mind. Something in you is looking for a committed energy that will embrace life with a passion that knows no limits. But the passion in you that is yourself, and the passion in me that is myself continues. It will take us both far away to great adventures. I open myself to you one more time, and I feel the sublime. I feel spirit flood into my soul and awaken me. Songs pour out of me, dreams and paintings. I have no regrets. But I have one last hope, one prayer from me to you. May love and inspiration awaken you and guide your soul. May your dreams all be fulfilled. May many men bring you joy. Keep your heart open and let spirit fill it. Give in to passion. Submit to love. Crawl through the darkness. Swim through the blood. Lay down in ecstasy. Twist on the rack and share. Share the delirium.